Okay, folks, happy Sunday. Let's pick up this area a little bit. We left kind of a trail of destruction, a trail of construction. Get all these colors out of the way, even though we may pull them right back. I'm actually not going to put the triad away. We'll leave them here. So we're going to build our next car that is really pretty basic. Not much to it. Second vehicle I have that has lasers on it. And that is this little Hot Wheels Focus RS. Got an orange up here too. You get on out of here, orange. Okay. So this is it. This is how it comes. We've added a flat coat to it. It came with all these little sponsors. Jeez. Came with all these sponsors that you see pictured on there. The RS logo on the side of the vehicle. RS logo over here. Some more sponsors there on the side. And lots of detail that's on here, but they just decided to cut corners and not paint. Like the whole front of the car is completely green. There's no lights or anything like that. No grille, no fog lamps. Actually, I don't know if this vehicle has fog lamps, but they're not painted. They even have the little 3D RS logo that's on there. However, it's not painted in. So we're going to fix all that. And we're going to give this thing a laser. We're going to have a turreted laser. This is going to be a car. 12 points with a laser. That is 5 times 3. It's 15. There's your 27-point car. That's a pretty basic car. But I've read the laser rules. I haven't used one in combat yet. It seems like it could be a lot of fun. And we've got this little part that I wanted to use a laser that looked turreted, so we're going to put this little thing up here. It looks kind of like a phalanx, if you will. It did not come with a separate barrel, or I lost it or something. But this is from Autokill. The people that made a game called Autokill, and it's some of their parts. I've had for them for a while. So we took a paper clip, clipped the end of it, and it's going to look something like this. We're going to super glue this thing in. So this is going to be the little turret that sits on top of here. Well, it won't do that, but so let's start off by super gluing the barrel on, and we're going to use the fast acting super glue, and hopefully we don't botch that up. And then we'll get painting this guy, and hopefully we'll be done with him this morning. And we'll have yet another car to do. Another car done. As much as I want to do ramps, I'm just not going to be able to do that this morning. I got too many people staying at the house. It's going to be way too loud, like cutting and stuff. Oh, hold on a second. Did we do this wrong? We did do this wrong. We thought this was the side that was cut. This is the side that's cut. So it's a little jagged on this end. Okay, make sure that's straight. Oh, it's front heavy. All right. Yeah, because this whole thing is resin, yet the barrel is made out of a paper clip, so it weighs more. So we're going to put some stickum on here. And we're going to prime this little guy. So this is the laser that sits on top of the focus body. So while that's drying, let's put this away. Interesting looking wheels, not rims. I got to stop myself. It's not rims. Everybody calls them rims, but Sometimes they're rims. In this case, they're wheels. Oh, we got some folks here. Good morning. It's not paint. I don't know what part isn't paint. But this thing has really good detail on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to prime everything that is going to need paint on it. Okay, so we're going to do the little logo. We're going to find out what the lights look like. There's a little Ford logo here. We're going to paint that blue, and I'm not going to be able to sign it in cursive. I don't ever write cursive, so I struggle when I have to sign something. I'm a printer. I'm a proud printer. We're going to look what the front of the Focus looks like and do that. So let's go ahead and turn that. What year is this thing? 2016? Yes. All right, so we're going to go here on the internets. Would not be easier to use tweezers. For what? For some things. The problem is I like using tweezers. The problem is that they get slippery. So, but there's nothing else to use tweezers on. Like, we're done. All right, so let's open up a new window here. Let me close this. Make sure I only have one YouTube window open. And we'll leave that one open. Okay, and then we're going to open a new window here, and we're going to look at Ford Focus RS 2016. You don't encounter these very often in the wild, but when I do, they always want to race me. I don't know why. Oh, here I thought it was a two-door car. I guess it's a four-door car. Okay, let's look at images. Images is good. Images is good. All right. It's a decent looking car. And this is how it comes from the factory. Like, it already has all this striping and stuff. I'm not going to repaint all that. It's beautiful. Whoever designed this, you know, it did a good job. So we're going to like this look. This is going to look nice and snazzy. All right, this is probably a good picture of the front of it. Got a lot of parts that are black. A lot of parts that are black. So let's try to make it look realistic. Because, heck, that's part of the fun for me. Yeah, I love doing tweezer work, but sometimes things are like slippery and round, and the tweezers don't work. Somebody's like, man, you got to get a pair of rubber tweezers. I did, and they suck. Maybe I didn't spend, a lot of money on them. I didn't, and I got crappy ones, but I'm not happy with my rubber tweezers. But I do like putting together like separate link track and stuff like that, and 1/72 scale models. Those are fun. That's fun to do. Okay, so let's find something that we're not going to make a disaster on. What are these? All right, put a little bit of primer down and get busy. Now, I could probably use black paint, but I've got this primer. It flows really well. I don't know that it works any better. Once you seal it, it's not going to handle and come off. What's up? Shub ham lifts. Sounds like an exercise. Man, I'm so tired. Why? I did 100 shub ham lifts before I went into work. Man, I'm going to struggle here with the glasses on, glasses off. I got my contacts out, so I've got +6 vision right now, but I can't see the computer screen. So we need to look at the computer screen to be able to look at the front of this car. All right, so the whole inside, let's click on this picture here. The whole inside here of the car is black. Plus we got a little bit of black here, we got a little bit of black here, and then you got the area that the lights are going to be in. Okay, and I'm going to paint all that black because we're going to have to make the lights. Well, we don't have to. I choose to. All right, so we're going to get our primer down. And, oh, this is on the bottom part. Well, is this already black? Yeah, kind of. It's this dark gray. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this part black. And then there's a tiny little lip. There's a tiny little lip here of metal, and I see that's what that is. So we're going to leave that the natural color, and we're going to paint inside of all of this black. This stuff flows really well. I'm going to be away from comments here for a little bit, so you'll have to excuse me. I'll come up for air for a moment. Okay? This little guy's going to look good. It's going to look good. And then we have little pockets where the fog lights go in. Okay? Now, this is the original color the vehicle's in. All we did was sprayed a clear flat coat on it. That dulled it a little bit, which makes it easier for your eye to focus on things. You're not constantly distracted by the little glare. And when we added a brown wash, which we already did, a light brown wash. Actually, it's a dark brown wash, but it's thinned down a little bit to kind of modulate all the colors. So you don't have this one finish that's like a factory brand new finish of the car. But you need to put it on something so it'll grab. So that's why we put the flat coat on. So it can adhere to it. And then we'll do the same on this side over here. And that's what the name of this vehicle is going to be. It's going to be laser focused. I like a play on words on every one of my vehicles. And they're usually named before I even start working on them. All right, now the lights are a little trickier because they're kind of like have like soft. They don't have like a hard line where they stop and start. So we have the straight line that goes across the top here. And it kind of looks like they kind of come to a point. So here's the difference between one and the other. Of course, it looks shiny slick right now, but it won't be. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, let me come up. Let me come up for air here for a second. Switch screens. Should be here. I don't understand the Cyrillic writing. Could I smile? That's going to cost you extra. I like the way the Cyrillic writing looks. I just don't know what it is. I've written things on my Soviet tanks in Cyrillic, and I don't know what it is. Well, I mean, I know what it's supposed to be. I had somebody was able to read it. I was like, why does your tank say Tiger Tamer on it? You know you did it right when somebody that can understand it did it. All right? When somebody that can understand the language can read what you wrote. Okay, we're going to do a little, the Ford emblem, even though it's going to be blue, we're going to put the bottom of it black. Anytime I add something on there, like say this happens to have like a ladder on it, right? That's etched on here. It doesn't, but like the Bimbo Bomber had one. Has a ladder that's etched on the body. And it's already painted, it's molded in the same color that the body color is. To make it stand out, I paint it black. And then, if I'm going to put metal, then put metal and leave a little bit of the black around the outside. Just makes it pop. It adds that three-dimensionality to it. Because you're going to be playing with these cars 2 and 3 feet away from each other. You want to be able to see, well, not from each other. They'll be on top of each other fighting. But you'll be like 2 or 3 feet away from the car. You want to look at all those details that they decided to mold on the car and be able to see it 2 or 3 feet away. And then once we're done with this, we'll go to the back and do the same equivalent things. Okay. You got the front of the Ford Focus. All right, let's move to the back. I gotta change pictures. All right, so let's go here, and we're gonna go back. All right, now we're looking at the running away end. All right, the bottom here is going to be this part's going to be in black. I'm not going to paint it until it's together. It's just going to end up falling apart. Nothing else here gets on here. The wing, I could paint the wing black, a little mini wing. Definitely need to put the lights here, the tail lamps. Okay, and do the same thing on the other side. Now, you can paint it however you want. I just choose to might as well make it look like the real vehicle. I mean, that's part of the fun. Especially if somebody comes across and they happen to have that real vehicle. It's like, oh, I got a Ford gun. I don't know anybody with a Focus RS, but if they did. I'm waiting on my extra parts coming in from Creepy Hero Studios, I believe that's who it's called. And we get some different things from them. Hopefully the interchange goes well with them, but they're probably still 2 weeks away. So I'm working on all the vehicles that I have. They're already kind of primed that aren't those. I need to make a little black on the oval a little bit bigger. And I personally always prime black. Always do. You can blame it on the heavy metal painting guide from Games Workshop that I had many, many years ago. I don't do any Games Workshop stuff because honestly, their themes are things that don't really interest me. But yeah, but the heavy metal painting guide is pretty pretty instrumental when I got started kind of trying to do good painting. I'm going to go ahead and paint the RS logo black, because we're going to come in with, I'm sure it's red. It's red all the time. Oh, here's another little Ford oval. All right. And I think that's it. Well, other than the actual laser gun. Let's use a bigger brush so we can be done this week. And the last, I think, 3 vehicles I've done, they don't have any perks on them. I'm trying to mix it up. I don't want every vehicle to have perks. Or the next thing you know, like, everything is a special case situation. So I did a whole mess of vehicles with perks. The first ones I didn't have them. Now I've done like 9 or 10 of them in a row with. And now this will be the 3rd one that does not have one again. So we'll have a mixture of them. Stuff's pretty good about getting in all the nooks and crannies. And then not having the air bubble that pops. And then you have, oh look, unpainted plastic or resin in this case. We had an extremely productive day yesterday. That's always good. Now, I think what I'm going to do is, while this is away from everything else, I'm going to go ahead and prime this black now. If I got to repaint a little bit, I'll repaint a little bit. This is this little part that's showing here on the rear bumper. The front we already did. I'm going to go around and do this also, just to be safe. We're going to leave the wheels the way they are. If they're going to look grungy anyways when we weather them. They're kind of a blue-gray, a medium blue-gray. And that's all we're going to do on that guy as far as painting those things. All right, we're done with this TV, with the screen. The only thing that's different is that there is some supports to these windows that will be in black, which I guess I could probably do that now. Let's see, what do we want to do them? I mean, I can do them when they're attached to it. I'll do it when they're attached to it. I don't like to paint things and then have to, like, the fit and finish on these Hot Wheels is really, really tight. If you go and put something like a thin mesh or something like that to go over the windows, the car won't go together right. The tolerances are that tight. And you think, it's a kid's toy. You know, there's some engineering that goes into this. There's quite a bit of engineering that goes into it, actually. Let's see what we got here. Good morning. Good morning, Marcus. Cool. Let bro cook. The guy's the best. I don't know about all that, but I try to learn from other things. Hopefully I can make you guys better. Not that you need improvement. I'm just saying, you know. There's some stuff I've figured out that I can reproduce. I can reproduce positive results consistently. You know? All right, black lining time now. So we go down. I used to use Nuln Oil all the time, and they keep changing they keep moving the football. That's one of the things that I really dislike, is people that like to move the football for no reason whatsoever. You football movers, you. So they'll make a product and it's great, and then they'll go and reformulate it and repackage it. Like, I went to the store to get more of these, right? And now it's called war paints, which is fine, but some of these, like soft tone and mid-brown, like, I didn't know which colors they were, so I just didn't buy them. I tried looking online in the store and didn't have a good reception and didn't get anywhere. So we're going to put some of this dark tone down. This stuff thins extremely well with water. And what I mean by thin is, like, you could make it a little thinner just by adding water, and it doesn't react odd with the water. It still stays together really well, the tint. So we're going to come in, thin it down a little bit, and come in here, and all these little edges we're just going to go over. Now, this might seem like it's really painstaking, and it might be, but honestly, I find it extremely relaxing. Now, I've got some enamel washes that do this, and people say, oh, the enamel stuff works better. I have not found that to be the case. I'm not saying they work worse, but you got to deal with mineral spirits. It could affect these colors that are already here. You know, this is acrylic. You're not going to lift any of these colors. But I've said this before. I welcome there being different products for different people. When there's more options, the consumer wins. And we need scenarios where the consumer's winning, for sure. So all we did is just took that little line in there and just filled it in so that you can see this thing at a distance. You know, so you can be 2 feet away from it and go, man, that really is a nice model that Hot Wheels made of that vehicle. You know? Especially when you break these things open, you're like, man, there's a lot of detail on this thing. I mean, there's like a console and all kinds of stuff on here that you're never going to see. I mean, these windows are all enclosed. You're never going to see this stuff. But somebody decided, you know, some guy named Marcus decided to go ahead and put all these details that nobody's going to see. Missed you yesterday, Marcus. Hopefully you had a good Saturday. God, I got this pirate ship chair. That's on the Black Friday list. Get a new chair. It's not like this chair was expensive or anything. Can't you tell? Now look, I need to work at a quality control department where I test, like, you know, rocking chairs and things like that. My wife said I'd have it broken in no time. Well, you know, I get excited easy, and I don't like to sit still. Okay, so that goes around there. Who said they had a focus story? I wonder if that was whatchamacallit. That was a Hoffman. Hoffman had a focus, or I don't think he had a good experience with it. That's your boy. It was good, almost done with some combat miniature Soviets. Do you understand? Now that you've paid a few combat miniatures, do you understand why that's my favorite miniatures company? Now, the molds you could have gotten maybe old and worn out. And hopefully that's not the case. But those figures, that sculptor, is the reason I got into 20 millimeter. That's the reason I got into it, because of that guy. It's just like every darn figure's different. Different equipment. Huge fan. Huge fan. Now, we got black lining there. on the door. Not on that side yet. So the door panels and everything just stand out so much nicer when you got that. And it literally takes like no effort. You know? You love those figures? Sometimes the weapons need some love paint-wise, but they're also your favorite. Yeah, they're great. Now, the Soviets are probably the most basic of all of their figures. Between the Brits, the Germans, the Americans, and the Japanese, the Soviets are probably like the most boring. And I'm not saying because Soviets are boring, because I like painting Soviets. And like, you know, Battlefield I got a lot of Battlefield Soviets that look really, really good. I haven't even painted them yet. I don't know when the hell I'm going to get around to it. I'm not worried about it. It's not like, you know, I don't think I'm going to go back to Ancients probably ever. Between this and World War II, you know, it's all the same scale. So I make terrain for this. I can use it for World War II. You know, if I'm smart about it. Although I got to make some ramps for this game. I don't think I'll be using ramps in a World War II game. You know, we don't need any Sherman tanks that, you know, are going to go airborne. We're not making that kind of a movie. We're not playing that kind of a game. You know, the worst thing about doing World War II for me is that I'm not going to be able to finish a game in a timely manner. Now, that's not a huge problem for me. It may be a bigger problem from other people I'm playing with. But it's all about a narrative. So if a game provides a good narrative, that's all that's important. And I can't play something hokey or quick when it comes to World War II. You know, I got to have like ultra detail, or I'd just rather just not even play it. This lunacy, yeah, we can cut corners and it can be a fun game and things can be abstracted a little bit more. Did you have a car growing up that's yours, Marcus, that's sitting in Virginia? Or not really? Or you just borrowed your folks' car? This doesn't have a spot for a license plate. Others do. I'm not going to put one on there. You don't need a license to, you know, involve in vehicular manslaughter. No license, no problem. There's a little bit. That's why you want to be able to thin this down. I don't want a super thick line, but I want a little bit of line that where it changes. You're basically forcing there to be shadows in places that there would be, but because of the scale of it, it just kind of gets dumbed down. We'll go around these door handles too. You just borrow your folks' car. They aren't exciting vehicles, but they get you around. Your favorite is our Subaru Outback. The grocery getter. It's a good car. I think it's got a turbo on it. We have two Subarus, and they are peppy. And people say, oh, they're not fast. Well, you must be used to driving like Corvettes or something. They're pretty fucking fast. They're almost like 5 seconds to 60 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. Now, if you're out there driving a dragster, okay, maybe not, but yeah, I certainly wouldn't be buying a vehicle for having it sitting there, not being used, however often you come down there. Because if you don't use a car, it just falls apart. You use it too much, it falls apart. If you don't use it enough, it falls apart. I remember the neighborhood that I first lived in when I moved into this town, 1980, 1981, something like that. There was this car in the neighborhood, and I want to say it was, I was like 10 years old. 10 years old? 9 years old, I think 9. And there was this car and this other car in the neighborhood that I lived next to an elementary school. Like, I walked through my neighborhood. There was like a short little path, and I mean very short. And you got to the side of the elementary school. And we'd always walk by this person's house who had always had a car parked outside. It was a convertible. I want to say it was an MG. And I want to say it was dark blue. And I don't think the thing had been moved forever because the tires were melted. Not only were they flat, but they were like melted into the concrete on his driveway. And yeah, and this wasn't like, some guy that lived in the woods that was just collecting cars, because there's people like that. Somebody at work was telling me, yeah, look, I live over here. And so I look on Google Earth where they live, and I go, man, what's this guy next to you? He's got like all kinds of trash. Said, oh yeah, it's some crazy dude. I said, well, what's crazy about him? He said, yeah, he just collects. He literally has like, I don't know, 10 acres or something like that. And every 50 feet, there's a pile of something. And I'm like, come on. So I go on the Google image views on the roadside, and like, sure enough, there's like a broken tractor with like a wheelbarrow all rusted, almost like a minefield of like trash, and like evenly spaced. It's not like, okay, well, I got this big trash pile and everybody sends me like this stuff and I'm a hoarder. No, there's just like random piles of different things, like all equidistant from each other. Almost like the floor is lava and you have to hop from pile of trash to pile of trash, but they're not that close to each other. They're like maybe 50 feet from each other. Like, it's just the weirdest thing, It's the weirdest thing. But there's people that, just collect. They have a lot of trash and never gets hauled off, and I guess they're not bothered by looking at it every day. I don't like looking at things in my home that aren't supposed to be there, because it just creates visual chaos. Like if you've got like a pile of junk over there, just get rid of it. Like it's over there. What is it? Oh, never mind. It's not a pile of junk that shouldn't even be here. Well, just freaking like, you're driving me like crazy. We'll accumulate like junk mail. And it's like, just recycle it. Do something with it. Just it's sitting there just like in the way. I think that's everything. And there's not a whole lot on this little guy. There's not a whole lot on him. So I'm going to get some Ford blue, or what I think is going to be Ford blue. And I'm going to go ahead and paint those ovals in. Well, there's a Ford logo right there. So let's see if we can get something this will work. What color is this? Flat blue. This is one of these really old Viejos that is probably going to misbehave tremendously when I pull this out. Meaning it's going to be either super thick or it's going to be super thin. Or it's that evil color that looks one way here, and then when you pull it out, it's like dull. It's this one. I don't like you. He doesn't like you. I don't like you either. Just going to use this straight from the bottle. Just want to make sure it doesn't have any lumps in it. Sometimes these old colors can be lumpy. Okay. Oh, look, the logo is supposed to have like white around the edge. Okay, that's too far. Okay, we're not doing that. I'd have to shrink myself. All right. We know the RS logo is going to be in red. So let's go ahead and get some red and do that. I like that they added little things like that. RS, real snappy. I don't know what it stands for. Easy enough to look up. I don't have a Ford Focus. It's not my responsibility. Let's get a little bit of black. We're going to need it here in a moment anyways. We don't want to use primer for this. I guess we could. I'm not really sure what it would do. A little bit of water. You're painting stuff like this, you want to have the right consistency of the paint, so you're not, as you put the paintbrush, not like skip over it, and that's where you get into problems. You want it to flow smoothly. Okay, now we'll go up to the full thing. As the Kool-Aid man would say, oh yeah. Yep. Just like anything else, dry brushing. Don't try and do it in one shot. Don't try and go, I can do this and I'll dry brush one color, see how it looks. It won't look good enough. You need to layer it. You need to fool your eye into thinking that there's more there than there is. Your eye is super smart, man. It'll outsmart you, A little bit of white. No, I'm not going to use yellow. It's just a tiny, tiny amount. God, this chair just drives you bananas. I need to quit my day job. Move to Europe where you guys have free health insurance or something like that. So because you've got black around it and it's escalated up in different colors, it's kind of hard to see because the lighting isn't really great here because the light's back here. But it allows you to see this logo, when you're far away from it. And you get it to pop out. Me likey. Me likey. All right, let's go back to the picture where we can look at the front of it. Okay, good. We still have this up. All right. Let's close this. Okay, cool. And let's look at the front of this vehicle like so. It's a fairly attractive vehicle. It looked better if it was two-door, but I'm a two-door guy. They don't make two-door cars, really. My car is not a two-door car. I wish it was. It looked faster. Let's see. Okay, so this looks like it's got some kind of a compound type of light. These lights are a little bit of a challenge to paint because they're... You know what? I'm gonna paint it like that. What I mean by that is I'm gonna paint it like the lights are on. Because the problem is they have this clear cover. If they were round, I got that stuff nailed down, okay? But they're not. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave dark in these spots. So here we have an amber turn signal, and it looks like there's something a little amber here. And then we actually have the headlamp in between it. So that's how we're going to paint that. All right. And I guess there's like nothing on the grill. I mean, there's a little RS logo down there. They didn't put it on here. I'm not going there. Okay, there are the fog lamp that's on there. Let's go ahead and do that fog lamp first on both sides. Marcus, I don't have you looking at Hot Wheels cars yet, do you? Do I? Going to stores and looking at Hot Wheels? You're allowed to look. Even if you're not going to buy any, you're allowed. I'll let you. You should allow yourself to look. Unless you have no self-control, in which case don't look. I came really close to picking some more up yesterday, but I'm like, nah. They're actually at a place that I had to have some credit, but instead of them being $1 a piece, they wanted like $4 each. And I'm like, you know, I got quite a bit of a credit there from selling things back, but what did they have? They had a Viper. They had a Viper that was yellow. I don't have a Viper. They had a Skyline. They had a Nissan 180 or something like that. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. I got hundreds of things to work on. I didn't want them that badly, let's put it that way. It's a place where the inventory doesn't move worth a damn, so I could probably go there in a week and they'll still be there. It's a place that shouldn't even have Hot Wheel cars. Okay. There's that little bit. And let's get the orange out. I like using this fiery orange from Games Workshop. Now, there's limits to how much I'm going to do. Like, this car doesn't have any rear view mirrors. This doesn't have any side mirrors. I'm not going to put them on there. Like, they removed them for everybody's safety in this game. All right, so we've got this kind of like a Halloween brown looking color. We're going to put this on the end. But we're going to leave a little bit of black all the way around it. And there's probably some to do in the back. There's probably some on the back as well. Oh, crap. Oh. That wasn't the window that was doing it anyways. Okay, so let's go here. Come on. Oh, it's actually not according to this one. That's weird. Okay, well, let's make sure that we put this back here. Definitely has it in this area. Yeah. My car has the indicators back there. Okay, add a little bit more orange. Okay, let's see where I'm going. I'll show you where I'm going with this so far. Now, this whole area, this is the tricky part. Okay, so I'm going to paint, and I don't know that I'm going to be 100% happy with it, because we all have stuff to work on. This is probably the thing I have the most to work on. Is just being happy with how this turns out. Is on this area here, I'm going to paint like it's a round headlight inside here. It's tricky because there's actually like clear. It's inside. So I'm going to go fairly dark on this, but I am going to bring it up a bit on this area right here. Most people won't even care about this. But I'm doing this for me, not for them. So far, I'm really happy with it. So far, I'm really, really happy about it. Now, if this was a regular headlamp, what I would do at this point, I would start painting that little semicircle. Okay, now let me show you what I've got here so far. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to have to paint it like it's on the surface. There's nothing I can do about that. You know, because it's literally indented. So if this has a round headlight like I did yesterday on the Nova, we're going to paint a semicircle on each side that's like a lighter gray, and then we're going to put a little white dot in the middle. We're going to do the same thing. We're just not going to cover that entire area with that. We're only going to focus, see what I did there, on the area where the actual headlamp would be. I think they're called like projector lights or something like that. So we're going to come in with a lighter color, with a lighter gray, lighten up the gray a little bit. And remember, it needs to be round like that, but from the front view. So we're going to hold this thing up. See, can we use one of these little guys to help us out? Maybe. We need a bigger plop of it. Let's use it all. Okay, we need to plop this thing up. Okay. And then we're going to do, man, if I nail this, there's one car that, I forget which one it is, that I wasn't super happy with how it turned out. I'll go back and redo the headlights on it. Because they're this style of headlight. So let me pick the center point where it's going to be at the bottom here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. You know, this is really forgiving. The problem is I'd like to do it right the first time because, you know, like my time's worth something. You know, I'd like to hit things that do things correctly the first time. You know, I always checked out the Hot Wheels cars and shops. I enjoyed watching a World War II detour. Also seeing what João Peugeot does to Hot Wheels vehicles. I didn't know you had any Hot Wheels vehicles. Huh. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. You know, his mantra is like, I don't give a shit if they don't make that. I'm making it myself. Like, that guy has a can-do attitude. So we're doing a semicircle there. A U. And a semicircle there. Of course, they're not of the same brightness for whatever reason. Okay, I'm going to bring it up just a tiny tad with a little bit more white. Not quite white. Okay, and then in the center, we're going to put a dot up here at the top. I need to bring that not quite white up a little bit more. I don't know that I'm 100% happy with this, but it is a hell of a lot better than the last one I did. I'm a lot happier with it than the last time I did it. Check this out. Because that cover, it's basically a clear cover that is over it. The headlamp is all the way inside. Well, you know, how the hell are you supposed to paint that? I think this will do the job nicely. I think that'll do the job nicely. Now, where's me orange at? Let's go back to this little indicator up here, which it looked like in one that it was yellow, but maybe it isn't. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create my own damn color. Okay, I'm going to create like this really light color, and we're going to put it here. And then I'm going to take orange and lighten it with a little bit of white. And we're going to put a little dink there. A little dink there. Okay, now it looks really good. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy. That's the first. Let's put on the glasses and step away from it. Yeah, that looks pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. That looks pretty good. Watch the video. Japanese army does a Hot Wheels conversion there. Oh, cool. Rufuki, welcome. Did I say that right? Rukifi. Isn't that one of the guys off of Lion King? Rafiki. You're Rufiki. You're not on Roofies or something, are you? Saw some Hot Wheels vehicles kit bash with plastic mech legs. Inspirational. That's going to move slow. They look okay, or does it look a little bit like, what's that Russian fairy tale thing? Baba Yaga or something like that, where it's like some Russian house with crow's feet or something like that, like chicken legs or something. You know what I'm talking about. Baba Yaga or something. Hold on, this thing is so infested with this. We need to remove. We have an infestation. Oh, this is heavily soiled. You know, and I haven't opened this that much. Let's see if we can make this better. Let's get a paper towel. Let's take half of it, and let's take half of it again. Well, it seals a hell of a lot better. Although the seal isn't an issue. I mean, I've had this thing since Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister. Which needs to be over here. Okay. Yeah. Real happy with that. Let's go to the butt side. Can't find the post on Facebook now. I'm trying to find the plastic sprues of mech legs he used. Baba Yaga, yeah. Yeah, Zhao definitely says, like, they don't make that. Screw it, I'm making it. You know, the thing that he did, his conversion I like the most, is that weird-ass vehicle that the Africa Corps had. And what did they have, like 2 of them or whatever? And it was like some half-ass, half-track with like a Pac 38 in it or something like that. And they used a Gazala or something like that. Like, it's an ugly vehicle, which is unusual to say a German vehicle is ugly. There are a few I would consider ugly German vehicles, but it isn't very many of them. That's definitely one of them. Somebody was saying that British planes either come in the gorgeous or butt-ass ugly category. Nothing in between. The German stuff generally comes into that looks really cool, wicked, or, you know, something like that. Okay, let's focus on the back end of it. Oh, very nice. Where is the tail of this thing? Okay, here we go. Let's focus on this little guy here. I like this wing this thing has. Oh, these were expensive. It says Ford Focus 2016, 35,900. That's expensive. Is that Canadian dollars? Or maybe there's... That's expensive. Cars went up dramatically since COVID. You fuckers asked for it. I didn't ask for that shit. Okay, so we're going to do everything red, and then down here we're going to do a little bit of orange and a little dink of white there. Is there something dark that's down here? I don't really see that on the model, so we're going to leave that alone. But this whole thing is red. We're going to do all this red. We're going to come across this, dip a little bit, and then we'll have the orange and the white pick that up. All right? All right. We're going to use... I'd like to not use the same red we did on the RS. I think we used flat red for that. So we're going to use Vermilion. The other one that's just called red. Vermelon. Now, let's keep this whole stickum thing going. It's awfully stable. And then I'm going to have some of this laser that I want a similar body color of the Focus. So we'll have to do a little bit of green. Just got to get it close. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Yeah, cars they went up 20%. And that's before any tariff issue. All right, let's go in with this. This one should do it. All right, we're going to go across this. And we're going to go across this. All that is red. All that little bit is red. And then it's going to dip here. And we'll come to that edge. That's what's going to be red on the car. Okay, we're going to do the same on the other side. I really enjoy doing this part. It's like, you want to make the car look realistic. Like, it's the car. I don't want, and a lot of people, you can do whatever you want, but I don't want to have a bunch of Gaslands cars that just look like rust buckets. You know, with like armor plates. I'm like, there's no incentive to like, oh, this car looks cool. Well, who cares what it looks like? You're going to make it look like a rust bucket. Now, I am going to have one vehicle that literally, legitimately is a rust bucket because it is a crushed car. And it came, I got it from like the bargain bin. I literally bought it for 25 cents. And I don't know what it's going to be called. Probably something like Wrecked It Ralph or something like that. But it is a legitimately crushed car that came with a monster truck set. Now, I didn't buy the monster truck set. I bought them separately. But most of the monster trucks are too damn big. You know, you look at a truck like that, I'm like, oh, that's got to be like 50 points in the game. I said, no, it's just 15. I'm like, well, it's too large. You can't have a Goodyear blimp and it take like no damage. Maybe that's a bad example because a Goodyear blimp is not going to survive much damage, but you can't have something really, really big. You can't have HMS hood that has, the damage points of a Corvette. In my world, that doesn't fly. Okay, so now we have the equivalent red on both sides. Before we bring it all the way up, let's figure out where we're going to put our little orange thing. Good. And we have to pull the orange out again. That would have been annoying. Okay, and it looks like a little, like an L. Okay, that goes up the side here. So we're going to go like this, and we'll go across the bottom. And then the white is going to be inside of that. That's Barnes' favorite color, white. That would be fun, naming a whole series of paints. Tony's paint lines, not quite white and damn near black. Like Panzer Gray would be called damn near black. Well, it's not that dark, but it does have some blueness to it. Okay, so you have that little bit like that, and now we're going to come in here with the white. I want to get everything in its in its appropriate place before we start filling it in. Like the same thing I do shields. Anytime I do shields, you want to get all the basic shapes in the right place. So you're not like, man, this line looks great, but it's freaking off by 10%. Have to redo the whole damn thing. God, that looks good. So here's the basic. Remember, there was nothing here. This was all green. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill that stuff in. I love it when you just like, you're like, I like this car, I like this car, I like this car. Man, I like this one even more, Keep getting better at it. Well, it's better than the opposite and like, disliking everything. Man, I like the first things I did. I don't like the rest of them. Why do my chat messages disappear? Do they? I can't see them if I'm over on the screen, but I actually can't read them here. But this phone thing's working a lot better. There's 24 of you guys watching, so everybody's watching stuff on their phone, so it needs to be vertical. I have a collection of your dad's 1980s Hot Wheels. Excellent. Should make a video of them. It's cool to go back and look at things you haven't seen in a while. I really just like taking them apart the traditional way they want you to take them apart in. I'm not going to do that again. It's damn near dangerous. I like just going around the plastic and no harm, no foul. God bless it, that looks good. Okay. Do the same thing with the white. Well, the water has gotten too dirty. Yeah. And do the same thing with the red. Now what I'm going to do is there's actual several, this red thing is just all plastic, and there's several lights that are inside of it. So some parts of that red are going to be brighter than others. And that's what we're going to try to do. So let's go to our little, that's not a good example of it. Let's go back. Okay, that's the front. So the part that would be the brightest, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. I don't have the pause button. I can pause the normal way. So, let's go back to this. We got people awake now, so there's that. Okay. This is turning out really well. And the thing is like, because all of these vehicles are significantly different, and I don't necessarily mean armed, I mean like the core vehicle is significantly different. You know, it is Gaslands, okay? But I've said this before, you really need to drive. You know, it is a combat game, but you need to be able to drive correctly. So it's mostly, for me anyways, it's a driving game, mostly. And likewise, it's mostly painting cars. The cars have stuff on them, armor and other things, but it's mainly, you know, for me, it's painting the color of the car. You know, if there was a game to play with this and it didn't have any guns, I think it'd be fun to fix these cars up. Now, I've seen a couple of guys that do restorations of Hot Wheels or enhancements of Hot Wheels, and they're really talented. But they don't do weathering, and they don't do the panel. Maybe there's some that do the panel lining. I haven't seen them do the panel lining. So at the end of the day, you need to, you know, when you shrink this vehicle down, you have to enhance details so your eye doesn't just like go like, oh, it's just a little ant, you know, don't worry about it. And that's what we're doing, is we're adding extra shadows that if it was a real size vehicle would have them. But this is super enjoyable for me. I'm actually not due. I was looking at the tail light. I'm actually may not do the focused light on the tail lights like I was talking about, because then I look at it and there's some areas that just look just as bright as others. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to add it in a few places. Damn, this looks good. I don't even like Fords. Damn, it looks good. I'm glad I got up today. And that looks superb. I'm going to have a hard time going back to World War II stuff. Didn't say I wasn't going to. I'm just saying that this is just super enjoyable. And all the details are here. They're already molded on the vehicle. They're already molded on the vehicle. Now, let's kind of rudimentary put this thing together, just kind of see what I'm not going to paint the interior. Sorry, Marcus. I know you heard that. But you can't see it. It's not like don't even install it inside. No, that's taking things too far, okay? Okay, this goes in here. This goes in here. This goes in. Here. Actually, I need to pry this in. I'm liking this phone thing better than the computer. I feel like I can show you guys stuff a little bit better. That's looking pretty good. It'd be a shame to repaint that. I mean, the striping is, if it was an ugly paint job, I probably would have picked it up, but you know, it's got some sponsoring logos on it. I think it looks pretty awesome. Now, unfortunately, there's no reason I can't put the laser off the one side on the roof. It won't screw up this. See, there's drivers over here, passengers over here. There's no reason I can't put it on the roof off to one side and not break up the beautiful stripe. Then have to be smack in the middle of it. It's not like it's something that weighs that much anyways. I think I might do that. But I would like the body of this to be somewhat looking like the green metallic. So that's what we're going to do, and it is one of my most fun things to do. Although painting lights on things are starting to really overtake that. I like the color of the wheels. I'm going to leave them in that gray. I think it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, I fucking love this. I mean, you know, this is a lot of joy for a $1 item. You know? And again, the people that design these things, I don't know that they get enough credit. Just like the sculptors that do our 20mm figures or other scales. I don't think those guys get enough credit. I'm just a dumbass that's painting things. You know? Oh, not everybody can do it. I said, I think that what I do, anybody can do. The problem is some people just don't have the patience for it. You know? And I get that. I don't have the patience to, like, you know, write a paper. You know? Doesn't mean I'd suck at it. I don't want to. You know? So, I'm going to get some fresh water. We're going to need that. Because it's really, well, maybe it's just this one that's dirty. No, it's heavily soiled. I'll be right back. All right. To make the green. All right, well, we know we can add a little bit of metallic to it. It's not really that important because at this scale, I've already dulled some of the metallicness. Metallicness? Metallicality. So I would rather use Vallejo than the craft paint because it seems like it's got more, the pigments are a little bit more, are stronger. This does have a brown wash to it, so you have to consider that. But this lime green isn't that far off. Maybe with a little bit of this, of these two together, this golden olive. Now, both of these colors are extremely watery. Extremely watery. So I'm prepared for that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. We're going to put this on a bottle cap that has only this little guy on there. Okay, only the body is going to be in this green color. The actual laser itself is not going to be, I have no idea what the hell the color of a laser is. It's just a make-believe fucking weapon anyways. It doesn't really matter. The tip of it's going to be red, of course. It would be ridiculous not to have a red tip on it. So I'm going to do we're going to close this window. And we're going to see laser weapons. And I can make it however I want. I just want to see kind of what they freaking look like. They have like a little window, whatever, and they're all kind of thick. This one in the navy is pretty light colored laser. I think I may do that, just like a light gray. Like the barrel's going to be light gray. We don't want it to look like a machine gun. So like a light gray barrel, and then the tip, of course, will be red. So let's. Do I have enough working room here? I think I don't. I don't want. I've got lots of these things. We can switch back to this now. Okay, so let's get not a tiny paintbrush. We can pull these out too. Not a tiny paintbrush. Something like this one. And we're going to need black. You always need black to kind of add depth to it. Don't always need white, but you always need the black. The way I paint. All right, let's get some of this gold and olive and see what kind of a shit show this is going to be. And I'm going to bring a metallic on here. I am going to add a little bit of metallic to it. Yep. This is the first sign that there's a problem. Now, I'm not even going to attempt this. I'm gonna give this a real good shake, and then we're just gonna open the top and scoop some out. Yeah, we don't need questions like that. If you don't know, you got problems, man. Trying to help you out. Don't be a dick. Let's pull this off slowly. This is a really old color. This color probably got bought 20 years ago. I have hardly used it. This color is so old. Wait for this. I pulled this off, and not only is the top of the plastic of the dropper rotten, the bottom is rotten too. There's nothing there. So we're going to try to scoop some out. Wow. I have not used this color at all. I mean, this was sitting on Brookhurst. See, I got too much stuff out. Ooh, avocado. That was sitting on Brookhurst Hobby's shelf for a while. I don't think I'm going to need the other green. I think this one is... I'm just going to go with this one. This is going to turn it into the wrong direction. If anything, it needs one that's a little darker. Like this one, which is also another troubled green. These are just really old colors. When I sold some of my stuff on eBay, now this one actually is all right. When I sold some of my stuff on eBay, I just used the monies to buy these paints. And some colors just don't get used. Like this color, I mean, it's not an ugly color. It's not a very useful color. All right. So we have that. If we take this, mostly this, we're going to need some agua. Let's go ahead and fill this bin over here with agua. And we're going to take this bin and we're going to fill it with agua. There's like little notches here in the top. All right, let's take a little bit here and thin it down so that it applies smoothly, and add a little bit of this color. Maybe half and half, honestly. About half and half. That's going to be pretty close. Now, I won't bother adding the metallic now. I'll add it towards the end. I'm going to add a little bit of black to it because we want some shadows for this. Even this is okay. Seems, man, it's awfully dark. I said, it's okay. It's all right. Thin this down so we don't have any clumps. And we're going to go and paint. Make sure that in a smaller little piece of this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this guy done this morning because we do have to go. Hey! Damn it, man. There it is. We got to go kayaking this morning. Girls want to go kayaking, so that's what we're going to go do. Okay. It's going to be a bit cold for kayaking for me. I may just glue this onto the roof. You know, I didn't bother looking to see if these guys have any new material. I haven't bought any stuff from these guys in, well, probably 8 years. The Auto Kill people. All their stuff is quality. I think I bought like a mixture of things that they made. Back when I first got into Gaslands, they were... 3D printing just wasn't as big a thing as it is now. Now they got all kinds of, just open the way for lots of other people to enter the marketplace and compete. All right, let's rinse that out. If I'm gay, then I'm just fitting in with everybody else. Bugger off then. Okay. Let's bring this up a tiny little bit. We're still going to do some black lining when we're done with all this. The thing about lasers I really dislike is most of them look really stupid. Regardless of how badass of a weapon it is, they generally look pretty unbelievable. Like, really? That little camera looking thing does all that kind of damage? Come on. But that's the reality. All right, now we're coming back to the core color here. or as close to the core color as we can. And I'm just going to, just for yucks, take a little bit of this metallic. We're going to set it over here. All right. Now, let's add a little bit to it. It's going to turn it a little darker. So with that said, now we'll add a little bit of metallic to it. I don't know if it'll make a difference, but easy. Oh, I didn't glue the wheels down. Well, I didn't seal it up either. And the other thing is, if you're using paint that's too thin for whatever reason, and you end up like putting it on and end up wiping it off like in the same action, if you like stipple it, that helps it stay in place. In other words, don't push the paintbrush all the way in. Just kind of keep it on the surface. Yeah, now at least it's looking close enough that it doesn't look like an eyesore. All right. Now let's go to the actual color of the laser. I want to use a really light gray that just has a hint of blue. So maybe something like this, medium sea gray. I don't know why it's called medium sea gray, but some of these older colors you like have to struggle with. I think this is another one that's going to be a problem child. I've never used them. They just sat here and they've rotted. I think that's probably enough right there. Actually has a little bit of purple in it, or red. Okay, so we're going to add Why do you make it darker or make it lighter? Well, that's just how I paint. I'm going to avoid the very tippy tip of this. We're going to leave a tiny little black line. And for the finishing touch, what red is this? Orange red? Nah, we want it red because there's an orange stripe that's right there. So one of these is probably fine. I probably still have some of this that's alive. That should do okay. Just something like that. And that's going to go on the roof. All right, let's put this back where it goes, put this back where it goes. How close did we get to this color? Let's see if we can cover up the Hot Wheels logo. Not that I dislike the Hot Wheels logo, it's just we're trying to paint a vehicle that's supposed to be 1-to-1 scale, not a Hot Wheels. That's pretty close. That whole using the dry erase marker to remove these, that doesn't work too well. Doesn't work too well for me. Oh, I didn't add a little spot of white to the fog lights back here. It's got yellow. I guess it has white fog lights. I got yellow fog lights. I've installed mine so I get to pick whatever color I want it to, and I like yellow fog lights. It adds, yeah, it's just aesthetic. It really served no purpose whatsoever. All right, now let's glue these tires shut. Let's make sure we don't grab anything that we've painted recently. Or just leave it closed. Leave it closed-ish. Let's just do that. Let's fire up the hot glue gun. That's right, we need to do the extension cord here. We're tapped out over here. Oh, I got a message. Let's see what we got here. Okay. It's gonna take a little bit to fire that up. We'll glue the tires so they don't move afterwards. It's not a huge thing if they roll. It's just, you know, when you're moving the ship, you're moving the car with a template. You don't want it to like move it somewhere and then it rolls back somewhere else. The surface we play on is pretty smooth. It's like a mouse pad. So it tends to be a bit slick. Yeah, let's see while we're waiting on that. Come on. Now, what's left to do is, after we seal this thing up, we're going to weather it. We're going to weather it, and then we're going to add, you know, what I call drippings. No, but it had all kinds of, you know, it had decent looking lights. It had the little RS logo. It just wasn't painted. It was all in the same body color. How are we doing here? Okay. What's happening? All right. Hold that down and splooge some in here. This is my what I call my instant epoxy. No mess, no fuss. If you don't have a hot glue gun, go buy one today. Actually, more useful than an airbrush. Let that sit. Unplug this guy. There's a million ones to choose from. They're all low quality things made in China. I just figured one of them had a name brand on it. It might be have a little bit better quality control on it. Won't burn my house down as much. I mean, it still gets bloody hot at the tip, but Jones, Evans, Olucci. Cool. Oh, I missed a Hot Wheels logo up here. Nah, it's fine. It's might be, you know, not even that noticeable after you do the. Oh, I forgot to do the Ford logo on it, or you know, a scribble. Let's see, we got any clean water here? Let's get as thin as we can go, and I'm not even going to attempt to write anything. I just want some scribble in between them. Oh, this tip has got a little. There, like something is. Something is inside the blue and white. That's it. That's all we need to ask for. That's it. Just a little, just a something. Could probably, I know they make those aftermarket things for it, but that's taking things too far for me. All right, I'm going to get the super glue that sets instantly. And we're going to pull the tire out a little bit. Splooge some in there, come in, pull it on this side. Do the same thing. Close it back up. And you know, if you can get 2 of the tires not moving, that's good enough. Even 1's probably enough. Yeah, I think I'm going to install this thing on the side. Like up here on the side, like here. That way we don't mess up the stripe. You know, I could have just painted the whole laser a completely different color, but I wanted to give it a sense of belonging. Now, there are vertical stabilizing things on the door frame. There are door frame things, so let me make sure that that is not. That is the color of the car and not black. And I have a feeling it's black. And it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, that's black already there. This size is probably good. Is this black or primer? Let's go to this one where we know that this one's definitely black. We're going to paint those things so that when we give the window treatments, the treatment that we're going to give it, it'll look different than this. Is the whole thing back here and it's got a little mini window? Yes. Okay. And we'll do the same thing over here. And now what we'll take this and a little bit of the white. Now, almost feels like a shame to weather this thing. So happy with how it looks. But this isn't Gaslands, the showroom. So we're going to get this here. We're going to get a little... And we're going to use our 3 colors that we like to use for the weathering, which is chocolate brown, US field drab, and Iraqi sand. And I'll use one that's relatively large. We're just going to do the underside part here, or the parts towards the bottom. There's a lot of people that have like aftermarket like wheels and stuff in 1/64th scale on Amazon. I was surprised that it would be on Amazon. I mean, I haven't bought any. I'm usually fine with whatever wheels the car comes with. It's not that important to me. I don't want to kit bash too many things. Then I've got all these parts. I don't know what it goes with. But that's just me. That may be something that I will delve into later. Okay, just a little bit of that. Call that mud, whatever. Wet mud. All right, US field drab, that's the middle tone. And then Iraqi sand, which is light. See if we can get a good snot blow like we did yesterday. Nope. This thing is on its last leg. There we go. We have another one of these, don't we? We have another Iraqi sand. One of the most useful colors I have. Is it this one? Yep. It's kind of a warm color, so it doesn't look chalky. And then I like to add a little bit more and get parts that are standing out on the car, like these edges. Try to avoid the lights. Let's see how small of a little dab of this I can get. Let's take half of this off. Let's just put it on the passenger side. Say something like that. I don't want to mess up the stripe in the middle of it. Like, okay. Put my glass on so I can see what I'm sending you guys. Looks pretty darn good. I'm happy with it. That's all that really matters. Otherwise, I won't make any more cars if I'm not happy with it. Now, rusty drippings. We're going to get soft tone. And mid brown. And light tone. I got to find out what these new ones are called. Because this is the old. Might just be able to buy these online. Oh, these are yesteryear's names. Okay, whatever. They work fine for me. That's what I prefer. All right, and some around the door handles here. Where's the gas? I think this is the gas thing here. This little opening here. And I don't know why, this is a relatively new looking vehicle. Why I like it better with rust on it or with corrosion. Well, if this is an apocalyptic setting, so, there's acid rain. Okay, this is where the curvature of that needs to go. And this stuff is pretty thin, so it may be something that you have to go back over these areas. To get it dark enough for you. What you're looking for. Rusty drippings. Good country singer. I don't know, does country music exist in England? If it does, my condolences. Yeah, they changed all the names of these colors, Jeffrey. I went to the store to get more Tony's Tones yesterday, and I couldn't make heads or tails out of what the new color is. They didn't have any of the old ones. I just wanted to restock on these. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. I don't want to get colors that... They didn't have a catalog or anything. You know, they had some nerd burglar working there that didn't want to do anything. I actually had to go to 2 stores to get the dark tone and the light tone. The dark tone and the strong tone. Luckily, they were right next to each other, relatively. I know this is state of the art, but I said there's acid rain, so. Let's see who we got here. Nope, not by that name. He must have been somebody else. You weren't the guy in here that came one time and actually used the name Adolf Hitler. Some guy thought that was cute. That was 6 months ago or something like that. I'm like, somebody's going to be using little Hitler's portraits. Probably going to be up to no good. And then all we'll have to do to this thing is just give it a clear coat. Flat clear coat. You know, so in handling, all the stuff that we did doesn't disappear. All right. I changed my mind. We need some rusty drippings here. Oh, the name of this band is Rusty Drippings and the... Okay. Yep, doing Gaslands. Dude, I just got into my game. My kids love it. Each you teach them. It's a great game. It's a great game. Old ones discontinued. They had a Viking funeral for the paints. Well, it doesn't work really well. They're water-based, so he'll snuff out the flames. So let's pop this thing on a little thing here. And yeah, it's a great game. And it's, you know, you can have a lot of fun playing it with cars that aren't modified. You just, I just, you know, I want to be creative. So I want to play cars. What you see is what you get. Like, I don't want to build this car and like, oh yeah, it's got these rockets hidden in there. I'm like, okay, well then show me some rockets. You know, but that's me personally. So, but I'm supplying all the cars for our game group. Well, they don't get to take them home, but they get to use them. So, anyhow, really happy with the way the front headlights look. Let's see if we can get this light to behave here. So, okay, folks, that's it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.